Most gamers know Captain Falcon from Super Smash Bros., but he has a rich Nintendo history that has somehow flown under the radar. He's the protagonist of the successful F-Zero racing franchise, where he's the driver of the Blue Falcon. Since he's found a way to become more of a secondary Nintendo character, there's a lot we still don't know about the man in blue. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the gamer, and ring that bell to become part of our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, here are 10 dark secrets about Captain Falcon Nintendo tried to hide. The F-Zero anime. Nintendo is usually quite wary about lending out their most iconic characters for movies and cartoons. You know, ever since that god-awful Super Mario Bros. Movie from the early 90s bombed at the box office. Because it was terrible. Because of this, Nintendo thought the lesser-known Captain Falcon would be the perfect character to have his own anime series. F-Zero's GP Legend was picked up for an English localization by 4Kids Entertainment. 4Kids had so many good shows back in the day like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Sonic X. Unsurprisingly, the heavily censored F-Zero GP Legend ran briefly on Foxbox before it was cancelled. The father of Fox. In the Star Fox series, Fox McCloud is the son of James McCloud, who first formed the Star Fox unit. We don't know what happened to James, but the last time he was seen was a prisoner of Andross. Eerily enough, one of the racers in F-Zero also goes by the name of James McCloud, and his outfit looks a lot like Fox's. Did he somehow escape Andross and become a racer? Well, Nintendo recently debunked this theory themselves. In Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, the trophy for Star Fox's James McCloud states that he's not related to the character from F-Zero. Sadly, Captain Falcon's friend is not an Easter egg from the Star Fox universe. Come on, connect it all, Nintendo, come on! Nerfing the Falcon Punch. As you very well know, Captain Falcon has been representing F-Zero in the Super Smash Bros. Series since the first game on the Nintendo 64. He's appeared in every single game and has become one of the more popular characters on the roster, due in part to the devastating Falcon Punch. He has consistently placed high on character tier lists due to his speed, strength, and amazing spike attack. But something was off in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He was severely weakened in every aspect to the point where he was borderline unplayable. But luckily for Captain Falcon fans, he returned to greatness in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Every Super Smash Bros. Game needs a strong Captain Falcon. Bring on that Falcon Punch. The Mario Kart crossover. It took a while for the Mario Kart franchise to include elements from other Nintendo series, which is surprising because they could have transformed the game into a racing crossover series to rival Super Smash Bros. It took until 2017 Nintendo Switch release of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the series to include characters from The Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing, and Splatoon. The F-Zero franchise actually crossed over with Mario Kart as early as 1998. The first track of the Joker Cup was the infamous Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. But it took until Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U for the series to return the favor, as Mute City and Big Blue both appeared as DLC tracks. There was even a kart based on the Blue Falcon. Now that's a crossover. F-Zero on the Genesis. Nintendo is often the first to try out new concepts and methods of playing games. Sometimes it pays off, like with the Wii or the DS, while other times it doesn't, like with the Wii U or the infamous Virtual Boy. Sometimes Nintendo even makes games for no reason than to show off the hardware, and F-Zero is one such title. It was created to show off the Mode 7 graphical capabilities of the Super Nintendo. The Mode 7 graphics were exclusive to the Super Nintendo and couldn't be replicated by any other console at the time. Yet a fan managed to create a demo of a working version of F-Zero for the SEGA Genesis. How? Genius person, tell us your secrets? The Secret Arcade Game. In 2002, Nintendo entered a partnership with Namco and Sega. This led to the creation of the Triforce arcade system board based on the hardware of the GameCube. There weren't many games made for the Triforce, as the only interesting titles were a duo of F-Zero games. F-Zero GX for the GameCube was created with the Triforce in mind, since it was going to be connected to an arcade version of the same game called F-Zero AX. When going through the files of F-Zero GX, some fans managed to discover a playable version of F-Zero AX. It's even possible to play the arcade version of the game at home with some help of a Game Shark or an emulator. Captain Falcon is a singer. Sort of. Captain Falcon's known for being a badass racer and one hell of a fighter, but not for his skills in the arts. The reason he's not recognized as a talented singer is because, well, he isn't. But the F-Zero series as a whole is known for its amazing music. In 1992, an album of jazz arrangements from F-Zero songs was released in Japan, produced by Tokuma Japan Communications. It features the entire soundtrack on a single disc. Not much is known about why the album was produced or why F-Zero was chosen over, say, Mario or Zelda, but it's an officially released Nintendo product that was released in stores, and you can even listen to the entire album on YouTube. The first Nintendo and Sega collaboration. The death of the Dreamcast was one of the worst days in video game history. Sega was replaced with Sony as the chief rivals of Nintendo, and the market would shortly become more crowded as the original Xbox was on its way. Sega now focused on developing software and entered business relationships with their former rivals. The first major collaboration between Sega and Nintendo was on F-Zero AX and F-Zero GX. Sega helped to develop an arcade version of the GameCube's hardware as part of a project that would allow players to bring their GameCube memory cards into the arcades. The F-Zero AX GX project helped solidify relations between the two companies, and they still work together today. Thanks, Captain Falcon. The disk drive content. One of the biggest issues with the Nintendo 64 was its cartridges, with an extremely limited amount of memory. This caused several third-party developers to jump ship to the PlayStation, which used optical discs for its games. To try to rectify the situation, Nintendo created the 64DD add-on for the Nintendo 64, which would attach a disk drive to the system. F-Zero X was a rare case of Nintendo releasing a game with the DLC still on the disc. There are parts of F-Zero S that can't be accessed without the 64DD, including new vehicles and a creation center. The 64DD wasn't released outside of Japan, so you'll need a Game Shark or an emulator to access the DLC. The Japan exclusive sequel to F-Zero. In 1995, there was another add-on that never left Japan, but this one was for the Super Famicom. It was called the Satellaview, and it allowed the system to connect to a satellite modem. By using the Satellaview and a blank cartridge, the player could download exclusive games. The Satellaview has since become infamous for hosting sequels to popular titles that never got released in the West. F-Zero was one such game that would receive a Satella sequel. BS F-Zero Grand Prix 2 is a direct sequel to the original F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, featuring all new content, tracks, and vehicles. And no, the BS doesn't stand for what you think it does. We're still waiting for an international release of the game today. It's BS, I tell ya. Well, there you have it. There's so much more to Captain Falcon than we initially thought. Do you think Captain Falcon is one of the most underappreciated Nintendo characters? Are there any dark secrets we missed? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to The Gamer to keep up to date with all things gaming. Thanks for watching.